pagbati sa ating lahat at syempre, nais din nating batiin ang ating mga kasamang guro mula sa iba't ibang rehiyon ng bansa. Syempre to our teachers from Cordillera Administrative Region, Imbag, Abigat, Kanyayo Amin mula sa land of the majestic mountains. Welcome po again. And to our colleagues from Region 10, Northern Mindanao, maayong buntag mula sa land of golden friendships. Maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. At sa ating mga guro mula sa Caraga region, maayong buntag din coming from the land of brave and resilient people and rich natural wonders. Welcome, Kaayo. We are very happy to have you all here today as we begin our second session of orientation. So you're still here watching and working with your colleagues for the Learning Systems Reform Policies Orientation for Teachers. Okay? Sige po. So welcome back again. No? As we begin the deep dives, let's do a quick check for understanding. No? Hindi ito exam, not graded, and we just want to see where we are clear with and where we might need to clarify more. So if you got it wrong, that's okay. But before that, ayan po, so let's just have some photos, no, of our participants, no, from Region 10. Ayan. So maraming salamat po sa ating mga viewers right now, yung nasa mga schools, no, and having our watch party, and also from Region 10. Ayan po. Hello po sa inyo dyan. And of course, Car po, no? Our participants from Cordillera Administrative Region. Hello po. So ayan po, some of our participants. And of course, our participants from natin, no, yung ating masustain natin ang ating active engagement as we move forward in our session for this day. Okay. So now let's move forward to our checks for understanding. So I already mentioned a while ago that this is not an exam and this is not graded. We just want to see where we are clear with and where we might need to clarify more. If you got it wrong, well, that's okay. Better to correct our misconceptions here. Okay? So, ayan po. Next slide. Okay, so please scan the QR code, or you can also go to menti.com and enter the code 81123424. Okay, we will be giving you ample time, no, to go in our Menti. So you can scan the QR code para po sa ating teachers from Region 10, CAR, and Caraga. No? Pwede nyo pong i-scan yung QR code or go to menti.com and enter the code 81123424. Sige po, while we are waiting for our participants to join our online quiz, no? Mag-shout out muna tayo sa ating mga attendees, no, sa ating live chat. So we can actually comment here, no, para po ma-acknowledge din natin. Complete attendance daw po from Talakag 1 San Antonio Elementary School. Hello po sa inyo diyan. Magandang umaga po. Watching from San Pedro, San Luis, Agusan del Sur. Okay. May mga viewers din po tayo from Region 10 Division of Misamis Oriental, Villanueva South District, San Martin Integrated School, Junior High School. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Magandang umaga po. And of course, we also have our viewers from Kadingilan 1, SDO Bukidnon. Hello po. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. So again po, we can actually scan the QR code, and please take note po to provide your full name and indicate your respective SDO to ensure accurate tracking po. Halimbawa, Juan de la Cruz underscore SDO Bukidnon. Ayan po, no? So ito po yung gamitin nating naming convention para po later, kasi po ang pinaka maraming tamang sagot at pinaka mabilis po will be receiving a prize. Sasabihin ko na ba yung prize? Alam ko ready na, excited na kayo sa prize, no? Sige po, basta po kapag halimbawa ang pinakamabilis at pinakamaraming tamang sagot will have a prize, no? Ayan, syempre nakaka-excite yung ating prize in courtesy of their Veron. Okay. So as you go through each question, we want you to note the possible misconceptions. Okay. So later on po, we have to check yung mga misconceptions natin. So this is just a test of understanding of what we have discussed a while ago and what you have read, no? Kasi kanina we have our reading time and we also have our quick check-ins, right? So this is a check for our understanding. Okay? Okay, we can already start. We already have, ayan, ilan na po yung ating ano? We already have 4,300 participants, no? Sino kaya ang mag-uuwi ng ating premyo sa araw na ito? So this quiz is a multiple choice quiz and you will be given 30 seconds to answer each question. The faster you answer, the more points that you will score. So you will answer individually or you can also answer as a small group. And the most points wins the quiz. Okay? Sige, I think we can already start, no? Because we already have 4,700 participants in our Mentimeter. Ayan, thank you so much no sa ating active engagement, no? Sige, we can already start. Ayan po. So at this point, you can uh, change your name po, ano? Before we move forward to our question number 1 of 8, you can already change your name. Pwede, just like what I mentioned, you can put your name and then underscore your division. So it would be easy for us to track you, no? Okay, there are already 1,900 players ready. Sige po, maybe let's just have some few minutes, no? So we can accommodate more. Alam natin medyo may mga places where internet connection is really lumalaban, no? And very challenging. So let's have a short um waiting time for them. Okay, we already have 1,800. Ayan po. 1,800 players. Okay. Sige. So habang hinihintay natin makapag 2,000 siguro, we will be starting for our question number 1. Batiin lamang po natin yung ating mga viewers from San Jose Elementary School, Libho, Albor 2 District, DepEd Dinagat Island. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Magandang umaga po. And of course, from SDO Bukidnon, Kitaw-Taw 1 District, Kimolong Elementary School. Hello po sa inyo dyan, mga moms and sirs. Hello po, watching from the Vision of Baguio City. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Magandang naimbag na bigat kanyayo kada kayo amin. Ayan. From Baguio, watching from SDO Ifugao, watching from Claveria West, Misamis Oriental. Okay, I think we can already proceed with our question. Number 1. So please answer quickly so that you can get more points. So under the new 3-term calendar, which block is specifically dedicated to learner readiness, baseline assessments, and building routines? Remediation block, opening block, end of term block, or instructional block. Okay, you can just focus on your phones kasi po real time naman yung nasa phone natin, no? Okay, under the new 3-term calendar, which block is specifically dedicated to learner readiness, baseline assessments, and building routines? Okay, so here, meron tayong 1,161 correct answers. Meron pa rin po mediation block. Okay, may 112 na nag-answer doon. And 128 po ay instructional blocks. Okay, pero majority of our participants answered correctly. Okay, next slide. Just to give a context on this question, the opening block is the initial phase of term 1. This is designed to establish learner readiness and generate baseline data. It is specifically dedicated to beginning of school year activities or yung BOSI natin, including ano po yung mga pwede nating gawin. Makikita rin po natin ito sa ating policy briefer. It can be learner and parent orientations. It can also be mandatory health assessments. It can also be administration of BOSI, literacy and numeracy assessments, or establishment of classroom routines and co-creation of rules. Di ba po ito yung 4 days natin ngayon for this coming school year dahil June 12 is holiday, di ba? So yun po yung ating opening block. And it can only happen sa term 1. Okay po, malinaw po tayo doon. Next slide po. Okay, so we can see here in our diagram, based also on DepEd Order 9, Series 2026, the opening block is term 1 only. No? And it is beginning of the school year activities. It can be 4 to 5 days. And we also have instructional block. And of course, we have the end of term block na kung saan we as teachers can do the computation of grades, do the parents teachers conferences, remediation, extracurricular activities, in-service trainings, and also wellness break. Okay po? And of course, sabi nga natin, in grade computation, dapat gawa na natin, no? Sana during the instructional block, we already check the quizzes, the performance tasks. So at the end, during the end of term block, we are just putting and coding the term examination, no? So ayan po. So thank you for question number 1. Let's move to question number 2. Ayan. Sige po, ang dami na po ng ating mga players, no? Nasa 1,500. Pero before I move forward to question number 2, batiin po natin, no, ang ating mga, ayan, sumasagot din po. Thank you po, no? Nakakatuwa because sumasagot din ang ating mga teachers sa ating live chat, no? So, that's good. They said here, it's opening block, no? Very good po. Yan. Very good kayo sa akin. Yan. Okay. We can move forward to question number 2. Yan. So again, please answer quickly to get higher score. Regarding lesson planning, which of the following is true under the new policy? Schools and divisions can require additional templates. Teachers must use multiple varying formats for different subjects. No additional templates beyond the single streamline format are allowed, or planning is primarily for documentation and compliance purposes. So ano po kaya ang tamang sagot? Regarding lesson planning, which of the following is true under the new policy? Ayan, so medyo, medyo marami yung mga nasa ibang mga options. So our correct answer is yung third one. No additional templates beyond the single streamlined format are allowed. Para namang yung ibang, gusto nyo pa po ba ng additional template? Yun po yung una natin, di ba? Schools and divisions can require additional templates. So hindi po yun tama, no? Wala na pong additional template beyond the single streamlined format. Siguro baka napindot lang to, no? Okay, sige. Next slide. So the policy explicitly says schools, divisions, and regions shall not require additional lesson plan templates, add-on forms, or documentation beyond the prescribed form. So uulitin natin ha, they shall not require any additional lesson plan templates. Kung ano po yung ibinaba natin na template, no, yung ating ilaw framework, ito na po yung ating gagamitin at wala na pong iba pang format. No? Hindi na tayo kailangan mag-contextualize pa sa mga division, sa school at even sa ating region. Okay po? Sana po maliwanag po tayo dito because we already have one unified format. No? And now, for our question number 3, sige, tingnan natin sa live chat natin. No? Ayan, true. May nagsagot po, true. Ano po yung true? Okay. Sige, good morning watching from Siargao Division. Hello po sa inyo dyan sa Siargao. Magandang umaga po. Ayan, watching from SDO Surigao City. Yan, Ilaw Framework. Okay, thank you po. Now let's move forward to our question number 3 with almost 1,600 players ready. So again, answer quickly to get more points. In the strengthened senior high school curriculum, how many core subjects will learners take? Okay, in the strengthened senior high school curriculum, how many core subjects will learners take? Is it 5? Is it 6? Is it 10? Or is it 15? Let's see if you really understood how the SSHS curriculum works, no? Para po sa ating new curriculum. Nakikita ko may mga sumasagot sa ating live chats. Thank you po, no? Kasi you're very active. Ayan, may 5, may sumagot po ng 10 dito sa live chat. Hindi ko na po sasabihin yung pangalan, no? Pero may sumagot po ng 10. Ala, may sumagot pa po ng 6. Baka binilang po yung isa, no? Meron pa rin pong sumagot ng 8, ng 15. Yung 15 na core subjects, that's actually on the previous SHS curriculum. Kasi ngayon, we only have 5. So congratulations to the 1,168 participants who got it correct. Because in under the strengthened senior high school curriculum, the number of core subjects has been streamlined from 15 down to 5. So these mandatory subjects are, ano po yung 5? These are effective communication slash mabisang komunikasyon. Isang core subject lang po yun, no? Yung effective communication at mabisang komunikasyon. Second is general mathematics. Third is general science. Fourth is life and career skills. And fifth is pag-aaral ng kasaysayan at lipunang Pilipino. So this reduction allows learners to focus more deeply on fundamental skills and provides greater flexibility for elective subjects aligned with their chosen career. And all the 5 core subjects are completed during grade 11. So ang core subjects lamang po ay sa grade 11 nila iti-take. Okay? Sige. And this shows, no, yung 15 from the existing SHS natin to the 5 core subjects for the strengthened senior high school curriculum. And again, effective communication and mabisang komunikasyon count as one subject. Okay, so I hope this is already clear to all of us from CAR, Region 10, and Caraga. Okay. Let's move forward to our question 4 of A. Okay, so meron na tayong nasa 1,400. Before we move forward, batiin lang natin ang ating mga participants from Subukan Elementary School Division of Camiguin. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Okay, let's move forward to our next question. So what is the specific weight of the performance tasks in the grading of English, science, and mathematics for key stages 2 to 4? What is the specific weight assigned to performance tasks in the grading of English, science, and mathematics for key stages 2 to 4? Is it 20%? Is it 30%? Is it 50% or 70%? Sige po. Ayan, sa atin pong live chat sa YouTube ay 50%. May sumagot po ng 50-50. 50-50 because the correct answer is, yeah, that's correct. It's 50%. Ayan po. So congratulations to the 1,151 who got correct answer. So under our revised grading system for key stages 2 to 4, performance tasks are given the highest weight at 50% for core subjects like English, science, and mathematics. So this shift emphasizes PTs as primary evidence of a learner's understanding and higher order skills over written works, which is 20%. Of course, the term examination, and which is 30%. Okay po, so maliwanag po yun, no? 50% po sa ESM, sa English, Science, and Math for the PTs. Okay? Now, let's move to our 5th question out of 8. So while we are waiting for our participants, batiin lang natin. Watching from LGU, Claver Function Hall, Claver District, SDO Surigao del Norte, Caraga. Hello po sa inyo dyan. Magandang umaga po. No? And of course, watching from Valencia City Central School Division of Valencia City, Bukidnon. Now, let's move forward to our question number 5. In the Education in Emergencies framework, which level requires academic learning to still be structured yet be intentionally slowed down? Is it hayo? Is it hinay? Is it hinga? Or is it hinto? Again, in the Education in Emergencies framework, which level requires academic learning to still be structured yet be intentionally slowed down? Hayo ba, hinay, hinga, o hinto? Let's check if tama ang sagot ng ating mga participants. Ayan, dun po sa ating online, the majority of them said it's hinay. Okay, so hinay, congratulations to the 1,147. No? Hinay, that's correct. Next slide, please. So, okay. So the hinay or is in level is triggered by minor to moderate disruptions. During this phase, academic learning can still continue structured learning, but the pace is intentionally slowed down to manage stress. Okay, next question. Okay, so yan po yung hinto, hinga, hinay, and hayo. Now let's move to our question number 6 of 8. Sige po, while we are waiting, okay. Which is an example of good formative assessment practice? Which is an example of good formative assessment practice? Is it low stakes quizzes as bonus points for term exams? Assigning grades without feedback? Easy tasks that culminate with a final project, or checking understanding during the lesson and adjusting teaching. So ayan po, sige, we can already answer, no? You can also answer. Ayan. Meron pong sumagot opening block. Hala, wala na po tayo sa opening block. No, nandun na po tayo sa formative assessment. Okay, and we got 1,366 correct answers. So good formative assessment practice is for checking understanding. Okay, next slide po. So again, aside from eliciting student responses, either through quizzes or other tasks, good formative assessment practice involves shifting the teaching practice as a response to the evidence of learning. So this makes you, this serves as a decision point. No po? Sige po, next slide. And now, we're down to our second to the last question for our quiz. No? And then later on, we will be mentioning kung sino yung pinakamataas, no? Because meron pong matatanggap na prize. Kaya bilisan po natin ang pagsagot, pero dapat ay tama ang ating pagsagot. Okay, let's move to our seventh question. So what is the role of learning design principles in lesson planning? Again, what is the role of learning design principles in lesson planning? Is it to replace the curriculum? Is it to guide instructional design decisions? Is it to monitor teachers? Or is it to standardize all lessons? Ano po kaya ang tamang sagot, no? Okay. Sige po, basahin po natin. May mga sumasagot po dito ng letters. Letter B. Ayan, binabati natin mga Don Carlos Central Elementary School sa Division of Bukidnon. And now we have it 1,377 correct answers for this number. No? To guide instructional design decisions. Okay? So as we can see in our learning design principles, these are criteria for what good learning and teaching looks like. Now, this will be further elaborated later. Okay, and now we're down to our last question for our quiz, and we will already announce the winner of our quiz. So, okay, for our last question, in the three-term school calendar, what is the end of term block primarily used for? Again, in the three-term school calendar, what is the end of term block primarily used for? Is it for enrollment, orientations, or vacations? Is it for mandatory 160 hours of instruction? Is it national level competitions only? Or is it grade competition, wellness breaks, professional development? Ayan. So may mga sumasagot din po sa ating live chat, no? Very active po sila, no? Watching from Benguet to Bly District. Hello po, good morning. So Okay, I'm very happy with this. Although yung 2014-15 siguro hindi lang na press yung correct answer, but we got 1,456 correct answers. Okay? It's for grade computation, wellness breaks, etc. So again, the end of term block is a 2-week period at the conclusion of each term. This is dedicated to administrative and developmental tasks. So again, it's primary use to include grade computation. Dito po tayo nag-compute ng grades. Remediation for those struggling learners that we have. Co-curricular activities, professional development, our in-service training for teachers, and also a protected wellness break, not only for learners, but also for teachers. And of course, the school head will organize this end of term block, no, depending on your needs, no. And there is already a sample which you can see in Debit Order 9 Series 2026. So we can already check sino kaya ang nagwagi sa ating quiz, no? Sa ating pagsusulit sa araw na ito, ayan, nakikita natin yung points, no? Okay. Okay. Sige. Ang nagwagi ay si Sir Cristone Duyapat from SDO Ifugao. That is from Cordillera Administrative Region. Ayan po, siguro kukunin na lamang natin yung details from the regional focal, no? Para po makuha po namin ang inyong number and courtesy po of our director, Director Veron, the winner will be receiving ng tumataginting na 1,000 pesos. So please, you will be contacted po, no, or you can contact your SDO focal or your regional focal and give your contact details po so we can send you the your prize for this quiz, no? So again po, maraming salamat po sa inyong active participation. So right now, I will already give the floor to Director Gerson Abisames of Bureau of Learning Delivery to discuss learning design.
Maraming salamat, Carl. Thank you, everyone. Nakakatuwa na makita ngayon na at least at this point po, may lumilinaw na yung ating mga policies at very validating to see. I hope you also feel the same, that through this assessment, this check for understanding, you're able to see, what parts of the policies are clear to you, which parts of the policies or reform policies might still need extra clarification. At pati rin po sa amin sa central office, it also tells us how we can improve our clarity in terms of communicating further. Ngayon po, ang segment na po na to ngayon, before we go on lunch, ay gusto ko lang pong italakay sa ating lahat or i-discuss kung ano ang mga implications naman nitong mga reform policies to our teaching and learning process. We looked at it from a big picture in the morning session. Ngayon naman po, titingnan natin anong mga magbabago sa ating pagtuturo at sa pagkatuto ng ating mga bata. And I'll talk about 4 key points here. Isa-isain po natin sila, and these are embedded throughout all of our reform policies. One of which, of course, the most important, I think, and I believe, with all of these reform policies is the idea that we want to enable good teaching. And baka pwede po tayong magsimula doon. I'll ask everyone to use the chat. Maybe can you type in the chat, what does good teaching look like? Kung kayo po ay nasa YouTube Live, please use the comment section para magbasa tayo ng konting mga responses. Kung aalalahanin nyo ang inyong, a teacher that you admire or, a peer that you admire, ano pong ginagawa nila? What does it actually concretely look like? Give you a few moments to use the chat. Tingnan natin kung anong mga sagot. Meaningful and enjoyable from Maria Irish Abad. Nice. Holistic approach from Teacher Christine. Teaching with passion from Teacher Jessica. Ayun. Two-way process. Sabi ni Teacher Vivienne. Nice. Engaging. Ayun, maraming mga words. No? Engaging, active, fun, my learning environment. Lessons are not limited to chunks of knowledge but practical usage to everyday life. Enjoyable, transforms lives. inclusive. Ayan, napakadaming mga definitions. This is also why ang sinikap natin dito sa mga policies. Particularly, I want to focus on the lesson planning policy, lesson planning and learning design policy. We wanted to make sure na malinaw po sa ating lahat what does good teaching and learning look like. Alam ko po, minsan when we even say something, a term like engaging, ibang-iba po siya, totally different, and sometimes engaging can be a word that feels too broad, that it's hard to measure and it's hard also to work towards, 'di ba? So ang una pong gusto kong i-discuss sa atin, nabanggit kanina sa quiz ni Carl, is the learning design principles. This is the anchor for how we want to empower teachers to become better designers when it comes to our lesson planning. Maybe we could show that, yung learning design principles. Let's start with that. Ayan, habang sineset up at habang lumilipat tayo ng slide, with learning design principles, you'll see that in the learning design principles, nasaan tayo? That's 8 learning design principles. If you have your handouts po with you, probably you have that as well. 8 po silang principles. It defines what good teaching and learning looks like. Ayan. You see here on the screen as well. And probably your responses in the chat are, similar or they fall into any of these 8. Ito pong 8 principles na to, nakuha natin to in 2 ways. 3 ways pala. First, we got this from actual practice. When we consulted teachers at tinanong natin, what does good teaching look like? Ano bang ginagawa natin, particularly sa Pilipinas, particularly sa DepEd classrooms natin? What is already being practiced by you, our dedicated and passionate teachers? Ito po yun, right? And so we wanted to make sure that we have a shared language para po talaga kaya nating mag-collaborate at kaya nating makipag-communicate with each other. Pangalawa po, this is also a result of evidence scan. When we look at evidence from different classrooms, from different research papers on what makes effective teaching, whether because of our brains or because of how humans are or because of how what effective pedagogy looks like. Ito rin pong 8 kadalasan yung lumalabas na pattern. And lastly, kung titingnan natin lahat ng ating mga innovative pedagogical approaches, and I know every year minsan may bago yan, from project-based learning to problem-based learning to inquiry-based learning to design thinking to design-based learning to brain-based learning, napakadami. But if you distill the essence of all of these innovations, it's also these 8. So daanin lang natin silang lahat isa-isa. Clear goals in teaching, as we know, is fundamental. Kung hindi po malinaw ang instructions, hindi malinaw yung content, or hindi malinaw yung actual communication between the teacher and the learners, then no learning will happen, no retention will happen, walang engagement, walang participation. So how it looks like in practice, whether you start at the beginning with articulating ano yung goal ng lesson na to. Kung nabanggit niyo po kung napansin niyo po, every time we try to practice it by ensuring that when we do our talks here in the orientations, we also talk about the purpose, kung ano yung gagawin natin, and to talk about the schedule as well para may clarity. It could also be a routine that you do, maybe using multimedia or using resources or using reading. So that way, malinaw, clear ang teaching and clear ang goals. Second po is scaffolding with the learning design principles. Good teaching and learning is when a teacher is able to create or craft different experiences or activities for learners kung saan gradually nade-develop yung independence ng learners. Maybe sa simula, we're providing them a lot of guidance and hints and supports. Maybe doing something like I do, we do, you do, or creating hints, or doing parang demonstrating the skill first, and then eventually, slowly, we call releasing the supports or releasing the scaffolds. So that way, yung mga learners po natin, whether they move across key stages or even within your grade level, nade-develop nila yung kanilang competency at kanilang confidence. Pangatlo po, checks for understanding. Particularly what we did earlier at natutuwa ako na almost perfect tayo doon sa item na yun kanina on what is good formative assessment practice or checks for understanding. It's essentially under, creating opportunities for us as teachers to check if our learners are following, if our learners are, on the same page as us. And if not, making a decision or making adjustments to how we teach so that way we could respond to their needs. So whether it's quick quizzes, whether it's hands up, hands down, whether it's using the kung online po something like this, we use a chat box or we use comment sections para lang na-check natin kung again, nakakasunod po tayong lahat at yung learners natin are on the same page. This is again, kung babalik tayo doon sa mga anchors ng mga policy natin, purposeful teaching kaysa compliance. Yung compliance teaching, ituturo lang natin yung lesson. Wala na tayong pake sa mga learners kung natututo man sila or hindi. And I know that's not who DepEd teachers are. DepEd teachers care about the learners. DepEd teachers want to know if our learners are learning and how we can improve the learning experience for them. Pang-apat po, active retrieval and spacing. This design principle basically maximizes how our brains work. Kadalasan po kasi ang mga brains natin, we forget. If we don't actively use a piece of information, if we don't make connections in our brains, after a day or so, makakalimutan na po yan natin bilang mga tao. And this is also the same for our learners. If we feed them as much information as we can without asking them to actively retrieve it, whether through a quiz or whether by reviewing it or whether by asking them to connect it to connect an old lesson to the current lesson, makakalimutan po nila yan. There's a bunch of research on the forgetting curve. If you're curious to read more about this, kung saan bumababa talaga yung retention ng learners on particular information. However, one hack or one good intervention is if learners are asked to actively make connections to something that they're studying, and if the learners are reviewed on it, maybe doing quizzes or doing checks again, kaya rin sila connected, mas nagkakaroon ng mas tumatatak sa mga isip ng learners natin. So you might want to consider designing your lessons over time, connecting old lessons to new lessons so that way it adds to the retention of information. Panglima po, self-awareness and metacognition. If our learners know how to learn, if our learners know themselves, they could think about how they think. Alam nila yung kanilang mga preferences, yung kanilang strengths, and yung kanilang habits that they could do better, then they will highly likely, they're much more likely to achieve and much more likely to thrive in our schools and our learning experiences. So ang halimbawa po nito, something as early as kindergarten or grade 1 is asking them about, paano mo naisip yan if ever you have a task or a quiz or kung may board work po tayo. Just asking our learners to talk about their process. How did you arrive at this solution? Or whether it's doing journaling time in higher grades or asking them to even explain multiple processes or even teaching study habits, teaching study strategies. So that way, explicitly teaching study habits. So that way, natututo ang mga learners natin how to, take ownership of the learning experience. Pang-anim po is social learning. We know that, learners, humans are social beings and it's equally important to learn from each other as classmates or as peers, hindi lang po from the teacher. And we will try to infuse social learning as well here dito sa ating online orientation. Even though magkakasama tayo, some of you are magkakasama in your cluster viewings and then we're also joined here, connected here virtually, regions CAR, Caraga, and Region 10. Marami po tayong opportunities to exchange our ideas with each other amongst yourselves in your cluster viewing, but also within this larger platform that we have. Panganim po, values and purpose integration. Kung walang saysay or walang halaga para sa learner ang kanilang inaaral, hindi nila nakikita kung paano to konektado sa kanilang buhay, sa kanilang pangarap, sa ano ang pinahahalagahan nila, then they will not engage with it. It will be, again, compliance learning lang and compliance teaching. And this is the role of the teacher. This is the magical role of the teacher. A teacher knows who the learners are. You are, again, the perfect people to know your learners, their motivations, their dreams, their barriers, their personalities, what makes them tick, what makes them spark, what fuels them to study. AI will not know it, technology will not know it, central office does not know it, it's you as educators. And I think this is why teachers will never be replaced, because as long as context is important and as long as teachers are there to provide that necessary connection on how we can contextualize all of these subjects and learning areas to what matters most into our learners' lives, then that's the most important thing that we can do. Lastly po is inclusion. This is not just for learners with disabilities or learners or classrooms that have that cater to learners with special needs, but I think as alam naman natin na maraming opportunities ang learners to be excluded in our classes, whether they could be excluded by in terms of the level of access to a technology, kung gumamit tayo ng technology tool. Some learners can get excluded by language. Some learners can get excluded by the choices of examples that we use in our classes. So ito lang po ay isang reminder also that inclusion is very important for all of us in DepEd, in all our learning experiences. Whenever we design lessons, let's keep in mind inclusion. Ano yung mga barriers ng learners natin? And again, you are in the perfect position as our teachers to know our learners. And once we know what the barriers are, we're able to design for them. Yan. So these are the 8 design principles. And now, siguro you're asking, how can we then implement these? And how does this connect to the lesson planning policy? Una po muna, the lesson planning policy is these learning design principles are embedded in the lesson planning policy and in the new framework. Pangalawa po, we've created, the central office has created resources kung saan we looked for easy to use and easy to integrate teaching strategies into your lesson plans. Nakakategorize sila dito sa learning design principles ito. Maybe we could show a few of those cards para lang makita nyo. Yeah. Ayan. So for example here, explicit instruction. This is a sample of a card. You'll get access to this. Explicit instruction we know is the I do, we do, you do model. So each card will have the title of the teaching strategy, how to try it out, what to watch out for, how to integrate technology, and also tips for inclusion. Nakalagay rin po dito kung anong key stage natin siya pinaka nakikita na applicable, but don't feel limited by these. These cards are references, so that way mas madali po yung lesson planning. We could show maybe 2 more. And spaced review, ito yung isang halimbawa ng active retrieval and spacing, kung saan when you design lessons over time, pwede tayong gumamit ng mga opportunities to review old lessons, previously discussed lessons, and then connect it to the current lessons that we have. Para siyang flashback quiz or something, para at least nagkakaroon ng retention ng ating learners. Yan. That's active retrieval and spacing. Last one maybe will show worked example. I think I saw that. Ayan. Ito naman madalas ginagamit sa math. And this is a scaffolding approach, but there are other ways where you could integrate these as well in other learning areas. Kung saan meron kang papakita na example of a problem, and then a sample solution and how the solution has arrived to that, and then articulating it so that way the learners see one way to go about solving a solution. You could also do this in science, in English, in GMRC as well, as long as you provide it as a scaffold. And then eventually you ask learners to try it themselves. Ayan. So maybe we could show lang how that the link, etong inspiration po nito, kung tutuusin po ang inspiration nito ay yung mga alam ko po sa atin, sa teachers sa DepEd, Marami po sa Facebook na nagpo-post at nagbebenta ng mga teaching strategies. Marami nagbebenta ng lesson plans at um, dahil po doon, we wanted the central office na sana naman makagawa tayo ng resources na para hindi na kailangang bumili ng mga teachers. So this is offered for free. This is a reference that we want to make sure is available to all teachers, so that way it makes lesson planning a lot easier. Eventually po, we want to, collect all the lesson exemplars para po connected sila according to our budget of work sa 3-term calendar. But as you probably could see, because ang daming mga lesson exemplars developed by divisions, developed by regions, developed by the central office, it's quite hard to do an inventory. But that's on our next step. For now, to support with your lesson planning journey, you could use these cards. And again, hindi po to required. This is just a way for you to use, existing teaching strategies para po mas madali yung paggawa ng lessons. Isip na kayo, pwede kong gamitin yung exit ticket sa simula, or pwede akong mag-jigsaw muna sa simula, etc. You could use these also in your learning action cells. Focus on one teaching strategy per LAC session, and then just, share modifications or share how you could integrate these in different learning areas. Ito rin po pala ay subject agnostic as well. So sana po magamit natin ito sa ating lesson planning. Ayan. So this is one of the 4 things that I wanted to share with you before we go on lunch. The second po that I wanted to share with you is formative assessment, because this is a key reform that we want to highlight in the classroom assessment policy. Ang main message po natin dito is to remind us that formative assessment and assessment in general isn't done at the end. Let's try to rethink and use formative assessment as a habit, or let's try to use formative assessment as something that we could integrate continuously. Ang goal po natin dito ay maging learning detectives. Kumbaga, pakita ko mamaya anong ibig sabihin ng learning detective. But for now, and again, I want to check in with everyone. If you could type in the chat, if you could replay your past lessons this past school year, ano mga ginawa niyong assessment strategies? Can you share po sa ating YouTube live comment section? What type of assessment did you do? If you can be very specific, anong tools ang ginamit nyo to use tools, anong strategies ang ginamit nyo. I'll give you a few moments to type here. Or kung kayo po ay magkakasama, you could also turn to a partner and just share, what type of assessments did you do last year? Ayan. Hintay tayo ng ilang mga responses. What assessments did you do? How did you assess your learners last year? Quizzes. Maraming nag-gamified quiz. Think, Pair, Share from Teacher Ira. Hopefully I pronounce your name right. If learners pass the assessment, the Show Me board, Teacher Marjorie, yes. Meron silang parang usually whiteboard yun, and then show me how you did this. Okay yun. Or show me if you've able to use it. Nice hands-on activities, questions, answers, gamified orally. Napakadami. And ito yung ibig sabihin po nung learning detective. Kasi ang mga detective, di ba, naghahanap sila ng ebidensya kung sinong nagsala, kung anong nangyari. Tayo naman po bilang teachers, we also want to gather as much evidence as we want in terms of whether our learners have been learning or not. Some of you mentioned that they're verbal thinking orally, nagtatanong sa mga learners kung natuto sila. Some of you might have asked to make products, maybe do worksheets or answers or drawings. Yung Show Me board po, that's an example of that. Some of you might do, process or behavior evidence, whether you're observing a student doing a science experiment, kung kaya niyang, i-perform ang particular task, or, a PE teacher checking the form whenever they shoot a ball sa basketball, kunyari, or any sport. That's one way for you to assess whether learners are able to do the behaviors that we want them to do. And lastly, but this is something that's a bit hard because we need to infer them, what learners think anong mga misconceptions nila, anong mga mental models nila, anong kanilang pananaw sa particular topic or lesson. Sometimes nakakatch natin siya through quizzes kasi nakikita natin dun yung mga misconceptions, ano yung mga when we do quick item analysis, makikita natin ano yung mga items na madalas nagkakamali ang mga learners natin. That's a clue. Learning detective, di ba po ba? That's a clue whether there are misconceptions that are happening in our learners. Same with mental models. You might want to do something like tawag doon, a mind map where you put or a Freyer diagram, Freyer model, nakalimutan ko yung exact name, where a graphic organizer where you ask the learner to put the main concept at the middle, sa gitna po, and then just ask them to show examples, write down connecting ideas, so that way we know how our learners are thinking about a particular concept or a topic. And again, these strategies, hindi po kailangang everyday iba-iba. What I recommend is choose 1 to 3 that you feel comfortable to do regularly. Dahil po, kapag naging regular siyang routine sa ating learners, they also anticipate it already, and then they also become more comfortable to show whether they're learning or not. Kung alam po nila na hindi siya graded but it's recorded or it's something that we as teachers are mindful of, we take it seriously so that way we make adjustments to our lessons. Eh, nung nagiging feedback loop natin with formative assessment. Ayun. I'll just show one last. Ito, sa cards na pinakita ko kanina, there are some formative assessment strategies there, one of which is stoplight. Stoplight, you might have, I saw this in a couple of teachers before that did this. I also did this nung ako po ay nagtuturo ng high school dati. Bibigyan mo yung mga learners mo ng mga iba-ibang kulay ng papel, let's say red, green, yellow. And then at the end of each lesson, just ask your learners, are we ready to proceed? Can we do a stoplight check? Red, not yet ready to proceed to the next lesson. Yellow, I'm still unsure. Or green, gets ko na po, sure, pwede na akong tumuloy. And then just ask them to raise whatever their response is. Then visually, makikita natin ilan ng red, ilan ng yellow, ilan ng green. It could become a routine that you could do regularly. Pwede rin siyang thumbs up, thumbs down, palms flat, etc. Pwedeng ganun. Pwedeng how much do you understand right now? How confident are you that you could proceed to the next lesson? There are many iterations of this. But again, the goal is to create a safe environment for our learners to express whether they're ready to proceed or not, and for us as learning detectives to gather as much evidence as we can in a regular manner. That also doesn't overwork us as well dahil mapapagod po tayo kapag puro quiz lang ng quiz. Marami pa pong ibang paraan ng formative assessment na hindi parating quiz sa 1/4 sheet of paper. Kasi kung hindi po, talagang tatambak yung ating table at marami tayong checkan or marami tayong i-record. We could also expand our toolbox of formative assessment strategies. And that's the goal of this new classroom assessment policy as well. Bukod pa dun sa grading, bukod pa dun sa updates to the awards and recognitions, ang root po talaga nito is to ensure and to encourage more teachers to use more formative assessment in our classrooms. Yun. Let's go to the third one that I wanted to share with you. Ang implications ng mga policies natin. Ito naman po ay yung education in emergencies. Just a deeper look into it. Nabanggit na po kanina ng aking mga kasamahan sa central office kung ano yung mangyayari kapag meron na pong suspension. Ito po yung 4 na levels of how we can respond. You can show hayo, hinay, hinga, or hinto. And it seems like gets na po natin siya generally. As teachers, ang kailangan lang po nating malaman dito ay una muna, when we expect a meeting within your schools with your school heads, because when we oriented your school heads, we asked them to come up with a plan, yung learning service continuity plan. It's an annual plan. At kasama po doon, ano ang pipiliin nyo na learning experience or learning resource kapag hinay, kapag hinga, at kapag hinto? Anong mangyayari? So that way, once malinaw po yun sa mga teachers at sa buong school, kapag nag-suspend yung klase at sa GC, sinabi ni principal, hinga tayo ngayon. Kayo po, as a teacher, alam na natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng hinga. Ibig sabihin nun, mag-ano ako, wala akong synchronous classes, hindi ko gagamitin yung modules, papagamit ko yung learning packets. At kakamustahin ko lang yung mga estudyante ko sa group chat. Pwedeng ganun. At kapag sinabi na natin, okay, orange, hinga tayo, pati yung mga magulang, pati yung mga estudyante, alam nila yung gagawin. So what to expect again from teachers is just to do some planning. You will probably do your school-based planning dahil iba-iba rin po per school kung anong itsura ng hinay, ng hinga sa inyo po. If you go to the next slide, we'll just show here in the policy sa EIE, may extra guidance doon kung ano ang mga particular learning experiences or learning resources that are applicable to each level. If we could show to the next slide. Ayan. So you'll see here, for example, maybe kayo, as a school, pumili kayo pag hinay, may online pala kayo, okay naman po yung internet sa mga bahay ng mga estudyante nyo, so baka mag-digital kayo. Or maybe kayo sa ibang school, baka hindi kaya ng online ng mga estudyante natin, so baka print modules or SLMs yung gagamitin nila doon sa hinay. Again, iba-iba po yan. And there will be more guidance here sa EIE policy once it gets released. But for now, just start to plan out, look at the existing resources that you have as a school, so that way you could also prepare your learners and prepare the parents and prepare the whole school in terms of responding to these emergencies. Ayun. Last but not the least, I'll go to one key update also in all these policies na dapat alam po natin, which is AI. Some of these policies like the assessment policy or the lesson planning policy, 2015, 2016 pa po to. Nung mga panahon na AI probably is just sci-fi. Medyo fictional pa siya. Hindi pa natin, nakikita kung paano siya talaga mag-a-apply sa atin. But now, it's so pervasive, it's part of our everyday life. Simpleng mag-search lang tayo online, AI na po yung lumalabas na chatbox sa atin. And then we've probably used, all of these tools already. When we surveyed the teachers, 20,000 teachers out of the 900,000 DepEd teachers responded, we asked them, how often do you use artificial intelligence? And kumikita natin dito, more than half reported using AI regularly. Maybe you can use the chat. How have you used AI if you've used it? Maybe you just type it there. I'm curious if you've used AI as part of our work as teachers. Pero nung tinanong po namin yung mga teachers, ang top one answer ay lesson planning. How to prepare lessons, preparing materials, thinking about activities. Hindi naman po yun masama. I think that's actually a tool that can support us. However, if we want to model, if we want our students and our learners to be responsible users of artificial intelligence and technology, to cite sources, to practice transparency and honesty, to practice integrity, it has to start from us as teachers. We have also to be mindful of the harms and also mindful of the benefits of these technologies. And we have to practice honesty also, whether we used it or not. Tatry rin po natin through these policies, particularly sa lesson planning tsaka sa assessment, na magkaroon na ng mas detailed guidance. I'll show some examples of detailed guidance. We'll start with assessment. Alam natin ngayon, kapag nag-assign tayo ng homework sa ating mga learners, let's say it's a reflection, essay or a project, madalas po ang unang step nila is to use AI just because it's available. And it's actually quite alarming because students now find it hard to start an essay. Hindi na nila alam kung paano magbalangkas, kung paano gumawa ng outline, or hindi na nila alam kung paano gumawa ng topic statement, topic sentence sa isang paragraph. Alam ko po, tinuturo natin yon sa English, sa Filipino, di ba? Pero ngayon po, sobrang dali na ng technology, hindi natin siya natuturo. And so the assessment policy will provide guidance on what tasks are AI prohibited, what assessment tasks are AI limited, and what assessment tasks are AI allowed with documentation, as you can see here on the screen. Yeah. I'll also show what is allowed and prohibited and limited for us as teachers when we use AI to prepare for assessments or when we assess our learners. Please lang po, as teachers, alam ko, there's been some cases like this before, but hopefully we could all be collectively responsible, lalo na as a body of teachers. Let's not use AI to decide the final grades. Um, let's not use AI to make sure that, they're, anong tawag doon? Let's not use AI to put the learners' names there and then they make the assessments and the scores eventually. Napaka hirap po na. I think that's on the next slide. The one who's controlling. Ayan. So decision making of final grades, please, let's avoid that. We could use AI to do grammar checks ng ating mga exams or to draft items. Pwede po yan, makakatulong yan. Or if we want to use AI to differentiate our exams, or creating an assessment task, a performance task, and trying to brainstorm with AI on how to differentiate it across different maybe mastery levels, how to differentiate it across different um, technology levels, anong itsura ng project na high-tech, anong itsura ng project kapag yung learner hindi gumamit ng technology, etc. So there's guidance in the upcoming assessment policy on how to use AI. In lesson planning, next slide please. In lesson planning, there's also guidance there as well. Ano ang mga useful para sa atin as educators? Anong mga pwede natin gamit ng AI at ano ang wag po nating gamitan ng AI? Ibabalik ko po yung sinabi ko kanina. AI can never replace the intuition and the context that the teachers have and know about your learners. No matter how much information you feed it, our intuition, our relationships, and our human perception of emotions, of social relationships with our learners is irreplaceable. And so I think it's very important to avoid, just making a lesson plan on its own without using our own voice and our own judgment. Gamitin po natin ito para po talagang may tatak ng teacher natin yung mga lesson plans na gagawin natin. Of course, you could use AI to do some initial brainstorming, to think about tasks that you could do, activities that you could do inside your lesson para po mapadali. In the AI framework, we also request that if you're going to use, in the lesson planning framework, we also request that you disclose use of AI. Again, this is us modeling as educators. There's no shame in using AI if we're gonna use it. Mas maganda nga po na pinapractice natin that we're actively using it and we cite it, we're transparent about it so that way we could model it for our learners as well. Ayun lang po. So those are the 4 things that I wanted to highlight. Deeper looks again. AI, we looked at learning design principles, we looked at EIE, and then we also looked at formative assessment. These are key changes to expect in our teaching and learning process as a result of all of these more massive systems changes na gagawin po natin sa DepEd. Ang layunin po natin dito sana at the end, kapag tinanong po natin, what does good teaching look like? Meron na po tayong mas detailed na sagot. We could collaborate better because we have shared language like learning design principles. We can go to the next slide, please. We could, check understanding continuously. Hopefully, we could adapt to real-world contexts and also maximize the benefits of technology while still mitigating the harm. For us, this is what good teaching is, and this is what we want. This is our dreams and our hopes for our DepEd classrooms in all our 47,000 schools. And we believe that teachers like yourselves are our core partners to make these happen. So sana po nakikita nyo na yung role natin as educators in these reform policies para po talaga sa mga bata so that we could design better learning experiences and also better teaching experiences for ourselves as well as teachers. Ayun lang po. I'll pass it back now to I think my colleagues who will share ano yung mga self-paced activities natin after this session. Aside from lunch. Ayun. Thank you. Hello? Checking lang sinong susunod sa atin.
Hello po, Direk. Hello
Ayun.
po.
Let's go, Carl.
Hello po. Thank you so much po, Director Jerson Abisamis, our director from the Bureau of Learning Delivery. So at this juncture, next slide po. No? Let's have some instructions for our self-facilitated activities. No, having already the knowledge and concept, no, of what we will be doing. Okay. So we will be presenting to you the lesson plan template. Okay, so this is our lesson plan template wherein we have here the name of lesson. No, in this part. Okay, and then of course, you will put in the lesson plan your learning area, the teachers who will be designing the lesson plan, and of course, designed for which particular grade level or section, and the number of sessions. So if ever that the topic or the lesson can be accommodated for one session or four session, we can also put it here in our lesson plan and our references. It can be books, websites, or toolkits, and of course the declaration of AI use. It was mentioned a while ago by Direct Gerson that we can actually utilize artificial intelligence in improving our lesson plans. No, so we can cite here how AI was used in the formulation of the lesson plan. So we can also go back to Deped Order 3 Series 2026 Annex A. No, this is our foundational AI guidelines for the Department of Education. So this will help us on how are we going to declare AI use in lesson planning. Okay, and of course, this new lesson plan template supports better learning design by articulating clear intentions. It was mentioned, no, and it was a very comprehensive discussion by Director Jerson Abisamis, no, of the different learning design principles that we have, and of course, it is very important for us to articulate the clear intentions. Now, this is our first part because we have the ELAW framework, right? It was already mentioned a while ago, and I can see in the YouTube that you already remembered that, right? We have the ELAW framework. So I is for the intentions, L is for the learning experience, A is for the assessment, and W is for the ways forward. So for the intentions, we have here three important things that we have to consider. First is our curricular targets. Second is our learner's context. Third is our clear expectations. Actually, the curricular targets are simply the learning competencies that we want to develop for our learners. Of course, we have to input here also what particular content and performance standards as curriculum standards are we targeting for this lesson, and what particular learning competency will be targeted, no, having that particular lesson. Secondly, we have the learning objectives. This shows clear expectations of what are we really targeting for that particular day. And we can actually implement here the scaffolding principle that was mentioned a while ago by Director Gerson, no? Wherein we write smaller tidbits of knowledge, skills, or tasks or competencies for our learners to work on. And of course, the learner's context, no? Which is what the characteristic we mentioned that we have diversity of learning, but we make sure that it is still an inclusive teaching and learning process. Okay, next slide. So after our intentions, we have our, which is the L, which is the learning experience. So trust is given to teachers in structuring the learning experience. They know their learners best. No, of course, we have different ways on how are we going to structure our learning experience. Like in sciences, we have the 7 E's, may mga 4 A's, 5 A's. It actually depends to a certain learning area or your own view on how you do it, structure your own learning experience for your learners. No, so what are the parts of the learning experience part of this lesson plan? So we have here a lesson. Simply, this is like the motivation part, wherein it serves as a springboard going from one activity to the lesson proper. And then we have the flow. How are we going to apply here the learning design principles, having different activities in order for us to meet the objectives of our lesson, or using and maybe in one, two, or depending on the number of sessions that will be needed not to meet that LC or that learning objective. And of course, our learning resources, what are the LRs that will help you reach your objectives, no? And what are the opportunities for integration, no? So the two important parts of the learning experience is first, manageable delivery towards mastery. Let's make sure that the learning experience that we will be providing for our learners will focus on mastering that learning competency. And second is the integration of learning design principles, the 8 principles that was mentioned a while ago, no? So I hope those principles will not just be part of a document, but those will guide us further in how to scaffold, how to structure our the best learning experience for our learners. And of course, yung opportunities for integration, it can be integration to other learning areas, right? Other special topic, or also technology. Okay. And the A is okay, next. A is for the assessment. Yeah. So learning evidence is carefully studied through assessment. So learning gains used to guide further support. So we mentioned that assessment, formative assessment is very important, just like what Director Gerson said a while ago. Because assessment, formative assessment can help us in our decision point in if ever that we will be proceeding to another lesson, or are you going to adjust the lesson or reteach that lesson? That's why formative assessment is very important. So in this part, you write here, you try to assess what learners have gained and where in what particular topics they still need help. No, that's why assessment is very important here. And the W is the ways forward. So reflection is utilized to strategize ways forward. Reflection in what manner? There are two important things here in the ways forward. Extended learning opportunities. This is a ways forward for our learners. No, we can suggest other learning experiences outside the classroom that they can do inside at home, right? And we have our reflections. So the reflections part here is for the teacher. No, given the learning experience, the intentions that you've had, how are you going now to reflect? How are you going to, do you need to change something on the next session based on what happened to that day? So in this reflection part, this will be answered no, in the reflection part. Okay? So sabi nga dito, reflection is utilized to strategize ways forward, no? In order to have a continuous learning from the teaching learning process. And of course, the extended learning opportunities, by the way, also helps to reinforce what the learner learned already inside the classroom. Okay, so we are trying to extend learning opportunities because we believe that learning doesn't just happen inside the class. No, learning can also be reinforced at home. They can be provided with various materials that they can utilize or activities in order for them to attain optimum learning. Okay? Sige po. So I hope our ELO framework is already clear to us. Now, we will have, before we move with our lunch, I will just leave this one, an activity, lesson B design. So what are you going to do with this activity? Please take a picture mm, of our QR code here, or you can just type it. No, so you will try out collaborative lesson planning, and we want to take a pick at instructional coaching too. So maybe there are also master teachers already there who can help you on how are you going to do your instructional planning, okay? And you have to take this opportunity to explore the process. So just again highlighting the term that we can already do collaborative lesson planning. No, hindi na lang basta isang teacher lang ang gagawa, iba-iba tayo, no? So you can convene and create a lesson plan collaboratively, no? So that maybe in that particular learning area, you can only have one lesson plan instead of having 5 or 6 lesson plans, okay? So see what you like about it and how it can help you become a better teacher. So, ayan po. So, please scan it, the QR code. Okay. Next. Okay. So, again, this will, so from 12:30 to 2:45, you bring the policies together, you collaborate on the lesson planning, make sure that this will be a helpful teaching tool for you. And this is a starting point for instructional coaching, specifically for our master teachers. You can create one lesson, you can redesign an existing lesson because our DLLs and DLPs, although all of those are gone right now, those can still be, we can anchor still our ELAW with those lessons that we have conducted before, or those documents that we had before. No, so please access the template, no, and make sure to download the template, no, and please be back to our session at 2:45 p.m. Okay. Okay, so again, thank you and see you at 2:45 p.m. No, and let's utilize, have a good lunch, and then later on, no, utilize that time to collaborate on how are you going to do your lesson plan. So see you at 2:45